Hey folks, we're going to continue working on Spelljammer Combat and Exploration art. Give me a second here to check my signal, make sure everything sounds good. I'll go through my intro spiel and then we'll get back to work. So hold on real quick, just checking my signal, yada 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 yada. Hold on real quick, just checking my signal, yada 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 yada. All right, it sounds pretty good. All right, cool. Beep 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 beep. Intro setup here. And pressing buttons. And hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I then publish them online. I've been focusing my attention on Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition for the past 5 years. There are a slew of links in the description down below to previous books that I've created, and they all have extensive free previews. So if you're here for Pushing Pixels, there's probably about 150 illustrations amongst just the free content that's available there, aside from all the other stuff that's on DMsGuild. I'm just not highlighting. So check out all that stuff if you want. If you're a 5e enthusiast and you're here for the Mac, then again, there are extensive free previews, so you can check out the stuff. It's almost everything I build is built for both DMsGuild, is both for DM and player, both sides of the screen, just depending on whether the DM's using it to build like world building and to flavor NPCs, or if the players are looking for new interesting options to help express the characters that they want. So check that stuff out. If you think the stuff is cool, consider making a purchase. It really helps to grow my ability to escape the day job and do this more often. But otherwise, support can be appreciated by following me on Twitter at Phil Kearney, if you so chose. But the mother load, of course, is like, subscribe, hit the bell icon here on YouTube for me to try. I'm at 210 subscribers so far, so I'm trying to get to 1,000 so I can monetize the channel. If I'm going to be spending 12 hours a week, 14 hours a week with you guys, it'd be great to be a side hustle. So I really appreciate you guys helping me out. And so what do we do? Like I said, we build books, we illustrate them, and then we publish them online. So what'll happen is we'll get an idea about, hey, what can we do that'll make the game better? Or me as a DM, when I run something, I'm like, what is missing here that's gonna scratch the itch that I want as a DM, either narrative or mechanic-wise. So we build the thing, we play test it. Once the thing gets play tested, it comes back. We're happy with the general model. We're happy with the general idea of how it's being written. We send it off to an editor. The editor then teaches us how to actually speak correctly, and redoes the document with smart words that we can then use to frame further development. And then when we get the text back, we drop it into the document. This one is 106 pages. We break up the text into chunks so that it's digestible. As you can see here, we're breaking up text, leaving lots of big empty spots on each page. Well, not every page, but on a lot of pages, there's going to be a lot of space left open. And when we do that, we then, like for example, we'll then zoom in on a page, like this ship combat maps page, and map scale on weapon ranges. This page we will then extract as a PDF, take over here into Photoshop. We built this cover, Photoshop. We then will create artwork for that page here in PDF. In Photoshop as a PSD file, we just build artwork directly onto the page, and then we can export it back out of Photoshop into Word, and then drop it in as a background. So we'll do that 106 times throughout the document, and we're over halfway done, that's for sure. Maybe like around 60-65%. We're getting down the funnel. So we're at currently episode 223. So you can see we created this book cover here back around episode 15, so you can see that creation process. And so when this is on the DMsGuild, it'll be probably about that big on the ribbon for you to consider whether you want to take a look or not. And typically I'm happy that most of the covers that I build compel people to at least click and take a look at what's going on there. That's the real strength of having custom art that fits 100% to, like, that's custom built for the product that the art is made for, that you have a level of customization that is unparalleled. It's a nice edge to be able to have, and since I started my career as a freelance artist, not a game designer. I've had 30 some odd years to get myself pretty good at painting. Good enough that this piece isn't complete, but you know, like this is token art. These are ships, so 500-foot scale, flitter, and a hammerhead ship. 50-foot scale, you can see at the 500-foot scale, everything looks kind of the same, like a medium-sized person and a tiny pixie. Both take up a square in a 5-foot dungeon. Similarly, we do that with ship combat here in the Infinite of Space. Now, at the 50-foot scale, you can obviously see that there's a significant difference between these crafts at this point. And then at the 5-foot scale, you can this is the scale at which you can board ships and attack each other. So, so there you go. Enjoy. What we're going to do today is we're building our navigation bar down here. So, like I talked about yesterday, you can check yesterday's and the previous episode. These are icons that when you click on them, like if I were to icons. Like if I were to click on the combat section here, it would change this token to this color, and then we would be hold on. It looks like my program already froze. So let's hit save. Just in case anything weird is going on. I'm gonna let that close and we're gonna reopen it. OBS Studio, the software I use for streaming, doesn't 100% love Adobe products. So occasionally they lock up. But when it locks up, it's just the graphics program. I'm using an Asus 2200. I don't remember exactly what it is. It was a monster 3 years ago. There we go. So when we click on this icon and it would then change to this black, it would start off. It'll start off white like these, right? These are works in progress, but it would start off white with a semi-transparent, semi-opaque background. But when you click into that chapter, it then turns to this opaque background with a black icon, which is up here as well. So if I click on this button, it takes you to this page at this location where it says combat. So we went through that yesterday, and you can see that process of us basically doing a bunch of that. And so now we're building the rest of the icons. So this is an icon that is the proper size to fit in the upper corner here. We're going to call this, that one's called Zaraxis. And then when we finished it, we just duplicated it and dropped it over the Zaraxis button that we have over here. Active buttons. Click, 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 see. And then I'll just be able to invert that when we're done. So we're just going to keep working on these icons until we are content. I'm going to drop that out of view. I'm liking how the framing is looking. Like here's hold on. Yeah, here's our framing so far, right? So here's generally how it sits when we're looking at this stuff. Like I'll be able to scoot these boxes over to snug these corners. That'll be, ironically, or perhaps unironically, or maybe even more well expressed, fatefully, like this inertia shock box here. These little sidebars. We have a lot of sidebars throughout here. But we can then drop these down into the seam of this frame like that, and now the box lines up with the edge of the text. I didn't realize that would happen when we started doing this, but I freaking love that that's what ends up happening with these boxes. So when we finish this, we're going to drop these frames. I'll do this off screen. We'll drop these frames into the document here for each of these, and make sure all of these are properly lined up so that our layouts will then become KISS perfect. And we're still, as we continue going through the document, we continue finding better ways to express things, potential changes that we can make, especially as we're doing the artwork. We can change the text around to help better curve into the artwork that we're looking at that may be referenced in the text that we do. So, but one thing in front of the other. We're going to collapse this. There, I'm just going to get rid of that because we're going to focus on the icons today. Icon, new dimension. And let's, I'm just going to do a screen grab here. Float over here. Hey, Hornetico, how you doing, my guy? Icons. It's what we do. A lot of moving pieces. But it'll be worth it when it's done. This is going to be a really good book. I'm already very proud of it. I like the work that we're doing. I like how it's stretching my my skill set. I'm going to, let's go to image, adjust, and let's see what happens. When I invert. Yeah, no complaints. So what's the scoop today, my man? Drop those down into the gray. Let's grab yeah, let's do that. And then let's do that. And then we'll go select. Yeah, select, modify, contract 3. No, let's do that again. I'll catch up with your text here in a second, my man. Contract 5. There we go. And then blip. Doing all right. Good. Oh, Ryan. No shit. Right on, man. I didn't even know you had a brother. I'm not sure if this is the proper way to do this. Let's go with maybe distort is the right answer here. I can just manually do it. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm thinking about this too much. Let's just go with the thing that we did. I need to go back and invest some more time reviewing the Eldraine monsters. I started that on Saturday, kind of making that a Saturday after painting sort of thing, like There's only 25 monsters, and if I can get through 3 monsters per session, it only takes 8 sessions, and then I gotta squeeze in the sessions. I might be able to squeeze in another one at lunchtime on Friday. That would be kind of fun to have a Friday lunch MTG design stream. I kind of like that. That might work. Let's expand. Or maybe just like not at all. Let's try not at all. Let's see what happens if we go with not. Shall we? Wrong button. What's up? Oh, that's fun. Right on. Let's see. Now, let's just leave that be for now. Let's make a shape. Hey! Coffee reminder. We're on a 20-minute kicker, so we've got about 90 minutes left to us today. Let's just go with the mountain texture brush. That's a fun one. I think that's awesome that your brother plays as well. I hung out with a family during high school. I had 3 brothers and a sister. The sister was like 8, so she was too young to play. But the brothers were, when I first met them, they were like 10, 12, and 15. And the oldest brother at 15 was my same age, and we had both just recently discovered D&D, and so we got thick as thieves real quick. And he had a built-in team with his siblings because they didn't have any role-playing experience until we decided to sit down and start playing. So that was super awesome. Have a bunch of, I basically spend every weekend over there for like 2 years. That was during first edition and then second edition. Yeah, I think second edition came out in 91. I would have been 16, so a year after we started gaming together. That's when second edition started coming out. Good times. Neat. And I don't think I need to do anything else with that, so icon. Hey, look, it's a world. It's obviously a world. That's good job. Now I can look at how well is it occupy the space. Very good. And now we can. Oh, that's right. Then we copy icon, duplicate, and we go down to our active list, and chunk, chunk, chunk. There we go. I'm gonna call this system button. And we'll line this up. I think we'll be finishing these icons today, and then we'll build the inverse of them. And then we'll probably we'll probably go back to doing some painting. I mean, I guess this is technically paint. This is more like graphic design than painting, let's be honest. No hate for graphic designers here. I feel like we're like 2 pixels larger than we need to be. What the deuce is going on? Oh, you're locking up. Yeah, I locked up. Hit save. I don't know why I'm locking up so much. Oh, it's because OBS hasn't updated. I think that's what's going on. OBS has been wanting me to make an update, and so has Adobe. I fucking hate how online service apps now intentionally make your shit work worse when you don't update their garbage. That's just... It's my choice. Such a corrupt model. There we go. Perfect. Get rid of that. System. The system is down. System is down. What's next? Let's go with cartography. So I'm really happy with those icons. That's a good set of navigation buttons there. I'm getting better at this design stuff, man. I am pleased. If God's willing, I'll stick around for another 20, 30 years and get, like, really good. I want to say I'm somewhere around 17,000 hours of production so far, like, overall. Like since professionally pursuing this stuff. It feels about right. Who knows who I can become, given enough time. I don't think the goal to it all is necessarily how fast do you get to the goals that you set for yourself, but how intuitively do you allow yourself to arrive there? And how little do you take personally along the way? I think that's it feels like a really good state to be in. Yeah, that's gonna work. Oh, that's right. I wanted to do this. Pop out chat. I wanted to see if I could keep that heart out of the way by making a chat window here. So I'm fucking around with my windows. Style as my guide. There we go. There, we'll do that. That way I'm actually active in real time with everyone else. I think that's a good idea. So we'll see how well this plays out. I've had a complaint about this heart button. Yeah, see, fuck you. just go fuck yourself, man. We'll be fine over here. There. And ooh, can I? Oh my god, I can change the size of the text by scrolling. Jesus, I can actually read that from here. Now I need to figure out. Test. I don't know how to get rid of this. Oh, whatever. It's there. So it is what it is. But yes, now that text is large enough, I can actually read that from here. Oh my god. What a game changer for the Kearney. Blindness no more. Unstoppable. Clack, 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 clack. T-Rex. Unstoppable. Unstoppable. Life is good, my friends. Life is good. All right, we'll do this and see how well that hangs. It's nice to be in real time with everyone else. We'll see how this bites me in the ass somehow, if at all. But now I'm jazzed, like super jazzed. All right, let's get back into it. Blah. What I think we need to do is drop this opacity like a lot. There we go. Yeah, the monochromatism, not only it's the genetic defect is that you don't have any cones in your retina. So aside from denying you access to color vision, it also cones also help like with the zoom function of your camera. So if you don't have any cones, you don't have, like, you're basically stuck with a low, like with a low resolution image. Like it's like a 360 DP. It's like 360 DPI as opposed to like streaming at like at 1040 or like 2160 or whatever the new thing is. Like I do not have 4K vision. I am stuck with basically pixelation, and that's probably the best description I can provide as to like what my everyday limitations are beyond just the color. Because like if I want to see something, I can't just zoom in on it and see it more, you know, and be able to just like pay attention to it and then understand what I'm looking at. I have to actually physically walk over to that object and get close enough that the resolution will increase to the point where I can actually see what it is I'm looking at. Most people, as I understand it, like they'll see like there'll be a tree, you know, over yonder, and they recognize it as a tree. But like when they look at the tree and like they pay attention to it, as I understand it, you kind of like zoom in and see the details of the leaves, right? I can't do that. I actually have to walk over to that tree and basically, like, I can't really make out what a leaf is until it's within arm's reach. And a lot of my reality is built around that. So I basically have to play brave my entire life and almost everything that I do, because I have to stick my nose out, literally, to be able to keep up with what the hell is going on. So I think personality wise, it's forced me to, you can't afford to be shy, because I have to constantly ask for help from people. Less so now, and that's a habit that I'm trying to get into. Like I don't have to ask people for help. Like what does that sign say and stuff? Because I have a cell phone now, so the cell phone can act as my Zoom for me. It's a different, it's more isolated, and I honestly found through basically into my 20s, because you know cell phones didn't really become a thing until like realistically until like 2004 2005, I guess. That's when they started making enough of a difference for me to be able to actually use the Zoom function. So it's been a while since this tech has been around, but until then, like my entire life was spent with me having to ask people for help. And that got me really humble really fast about what can I actually do on my own, and what do I need to be able to accept relying on other people. And so I think that's what got me really on board with a lot of my personal and political philosophy. Like I can't do libertarianism. Libertarianism would say I have to fend for myself, and I should be able to hunt my own meat and farm my own land, and not inconvenience others and not expect others to inconvenience me. But I am a creature that requires help from others in so many ways that it doesn't make sense to me to not want to have a society where it's just assumed that you help other people. And part of that is like providing baseline support. I'm not going to dive into the deep philosophies of it, but the way that I was built was I'm constantly having to ask people that don't know me to, what does that say? Where am I at? You know, I can't find the toilet paper. I'm just having to ask people for help on like how to navigate life, or what is it that exactly it is that we're looking at, or what am I missing? Like, why is everyone laughing? You know, it's its own interesting conundrum, and it doesn't allow for, like, self-reliance has to be gained in a different way. Self-reliance for me, it basically translates into having a life where other people are willing to answer those questions and be willing to help me, whether that's through tipping well or being approachable, friendly, apologetic, forgiving, empathetic. These are the skills that I had to develop and emphasize while I grew up, because those were my tools of survival. I spent some time playing paintball guns in my teens, and that didn't work well. I couldn't tell friend from foe. There was often like armbands would be the only thing that would distinguish one enemy from another, like red band versus blue band, for instance, which is fine. I mean, there's enough difference between red and blue that a colorblind person like myself can distinguish between those. The problem is that they're only this big, and at 20 feet, that resolution is so low that it gets lost in the camouflage that everyone wears the same type of camouflage. So it's impossible for me to tell friend from foe. I only played paint gun maybe 4 or 5 times, like with strangers, and the first 3 times were pretty frustrating. When I stopped playing, what I realized is that, well, if I'm going to end up being dead anyway, at least I would strap a bunch of water balloons full of paint, and basically run at a nest of enemy players, and basically just like kamikaze myself. I would get shot and throw paint at them within melee range. So I'd get killed and I have to scratch out, but usually that day I had a 2-to-1 kill ratio, so I could take out 2 people with hand grenades before they were able to shoot me, by me just basically dodging amongst trees and getting close enough to just to be able to drop paint on them and not care if I get killed or not. So needless to say, when I attempted to join the military, they said no thanks. I figured I could at least be a cook or something, but one of the intrinsic skills of being a soldier is being able to shoot the right person. And I could not demonstrate that. So they rejected me, which is fine. You know, there weren't any significant wars that I missed being drafted into, but it was also going to be my ticket to college. And you know, a skill. But that was not a path for me, so I had to figure it out. I don't know why I'm talking about this. That's apparently what I'm doing. Oh yeah, it was because of the zoom. Because I discovered the zoom function here with just zooming in like you can do with every other web page. That's very nice. Almost there. I don't have a brother, but I essentially adopted a German in college. he was an exchange student going to this obviously the same college as I was, but we were in the same scene and kind of bumped into each other a few times and had a cigarette together, say what's up. And he was a metalhead like I am, and they had a lot of the same. Even though he was from Germany, he consumed a shitload of American movie content because American movies are just better, quote unquote. So saith the German. So we had a lot to talk about, and he had never played D&D before. I was trying to build a D&D group in college. I'm like, hey, here's what this game is. You ever played? He's like, no, never heard of that. And it's like, oh. You, my friend, are about to make a lifetime hobby. Congratulations. And so I ran a one shot for him as a solo, and sure enough, yeah, he fell in love with it, and we became thick as thieves. And my best man at my wedding. And we still hang out. He moved back to Germany, but we still talk almost on a weekly basis. He used to be one of my default players in any of the campaigns that I would run online. I don't know why I'm talking about that either. I'm waking up in the middle of sentences not really knowing what I'm talking about. That happens to me sometimes. Yeah, I think that jives. Duplicate that layer. Let's see that one. Oh, that's what it was. He was talking about Mouse Ritter recently. That he picked up. Most of the content for that role-playing game was considered. He runs tables in Germany, and he also does conventions. He does sample games for different game companies. He helps set up. He basically volunteers to set up shop, like tables and unpack trucks and stuff for vendors that show up early. So. He'll basically hang out on the loading docks and say, hey, if anyone needs any help, I'm happy to do it. And then he hangs out and he talks to whoever it is that he's helping, learns about who they are. If he likes the cut of their jib, then he starts offering to help them playtest content, or rather to demonstrate content if he knows what it is. Work the table so that people can go take bathroom breaks and stuff, and basically makes himself invaluable to the working crews that are working, and then he ends up, getting calls when those people are going to be back around in town, and slowly builds a book of business of game companies in Germany that are like, yeah, he's a good guy. Smart networking. Never underestimate the strength of physical labor. Like helping somebody move, for instance. big gains there. I think I need to blot these out first off. But yeah, Mouse Ritter, it's basically Secret of Nim, the role-playing game. You're running around as intelligent animals. If you're familiar with Everdell, the board game, it's basically Everdell, the role-playing game, where you're running around as field mice, squirrels, badgers, whatever, like size, like very like your size is measured in inches. You're tiny, and I'm wondering if this thing's coming through. There we go. Hey, if anyone else is around on chat, can you drop a comment in the chat just to make sure that I can see this thing? Because that window that popped up said you need to sign in. That kind of made me wonder if this thing is working right. I don't need any conversation if anyone else has got stuff going on. I just want to see if there's anyone that's live listening. Just drop a comment in the chat just to see if I can see it populate. I just want to see if this thing's working or not. I mean, I guess I won't know unless something populates. So. I'll obviously not know if no one's in chat. Blink twice if you can't move your eyes. But yeah, the Mouse Ritter camp. I'm a big Secret of Nim fan. I've loved that movie since I was a child, and I like the narrative of it and the ingenuity of taking man-made objects and then altering them so that the rodents can make use of them. That repurposing, that scavenging piece. Like, all we need is a little bit of copper wire and we can do everything that we need. So we gotta go grab some, like, go find some copper wire, that sort of thing. Like a post-apocalyptic setting, but as mice at that small scale. That actually sounds kind of like a fun idea. Because you have like mutating cockroaches are like your goblin threat. Is this registering? I think it does. Nah, I don't need the dots. I think the compass and the scroll, I think those kind of speak for themselves. I do need to make sure it's centered up properly. Merge down. I'm kind of paranoid about that. I probably just don't have anybody here. think that reads okay. And I think the spacing's okay. Yeah, I think we're good here. Cool. And so that means we get to stitch that shut. Delete, delete. We'll call this explore button. There. We're doing good. We're gonna finish this today. I can feel it. I mean, not the whole book. I just mean these icons. God, the book. This book, I swear to God, this book is teaching me endurance. Ooh. There we go. I think the rest of the world is happy with that. Coffee chaser. You know what? I want to put some more coffee in my mug. BRB. It's been raining almost non-stop for 72 hours. I am loving it. There's a misconception about the Pacific Northwest, Seattle in particular, that it rains all the time, and that is true only in the autumn. It rains a lot in fall. September, October, November, lots of rain. Sometimes it gets freezing in December, but a lot of times it won't get till freezing until January. And there's virtually no rain during the summertime. So it's for people that love the sunshine, the Pacific Northwest is pretty amazing. I hate it because I'm sunblind. Because one of the other things that not having cones does, it means that you have to rely on your rods for all your visual information, and your rods are what picks up light. So I'm constantly on night vision, which means that I get easily blinded by any kind of lights that shine at me. So the sunlight is devastating to my navigation skills. But pity party aside, it doesn't rain basically from like late spring until late August. It's like May till May, June, July, August. Like there's virtually no rain. Maybe an occasional spring shower, but that's about it. It's only basically like September through February, March, maybe April. April is like a gray zone where it could be rainy or not. But a lot of the months in the year just don't have any rain whatsoever. And that is something that people don't know about Pack and Dub. Let's drop the opacity here. Oh wow, it's only 7 o'clock. We're doing great. We're basically down to 2 icons: our hamburger, our table of contents hamburger, and spellcasting. So let's go to here and click on D&D spellcasting icon. that. I think that's cleric there. Has some really good magic circles. That's the one. That's the sorcerer. Oh, that's right. We were going to look at a sunburst sort of effect. I like the hand. Now I think I want to go. I think that little swirl is a good idea. So we're gonna steal from you. Image adjustment, invert. I got a report. I was talking about this on Monday, during our evening Eberron cartography stream, that I've recently. I work from home now, and it's a white collar corporate gig, which I love, but it's work from home, so it's a sedentary. Like I'm not nearly. I don't commute. I don't run around. Like when I commute, I take the bus. Right. It's like 2-hour commute. I had to. The rising cost of city life in Seattle forced me into the northern suburbs. So now I can Uber for $40 at each direction, or I can bus for 2 hours to get to downtown Seattle. And so instead of me having to quit, they allowed me to be a remote worker. God bless them. Thank you. You'll have my eternal fealty and allegiance and honest work for the kindness of allowing me to continue working in this company. And the punchline is that since I'm at home a lot more, I've picked up about 40 pounds over the past 2 years. And so, and I was over 300 pounds back in the 2000s, 2000 teens, and then I lost 100 some odd pounds down from 311 down to 195 by basically intermittent fasting, like one meal a day sort of stuff. And then I started working from home, and that it was easy for me when I commuted. Because if I didn't bring any food with me, then I just simply wouldn't eat. It was a very simple solution. But at home, I've got a fridge right over there that yells at me all the time. It's like, I have food in here, you should eat it. And I'm like, well, maybe I shouldn't have any food in there. So I've gotten back into the one meal a day fasting, and so I was 236 on Friday, and I'm down to 232 now, almost 231, like 232.3 pounds. So I should be probably by Monday next week, I'll be in the 220s again. And so I think I should be able to get myself back down into the 190s just in time for the holidays. So that'll slow me down. So I think I'm currently curving to be at my ideal weight again. 190 is a pretty good weight for a big framed fill. I should be back down to that. Probably, if I do it casually, I should be back into that by March. And my newfound love for cycling in the gym that I have has been a blessing as well. I like the bike. I like bicycling, but I can't do it in Seattle because the road repair is so bad. It's difficult for me to see potholes. The only time I really enjoyed bicycling was when I lived in the suburbs in Missouri growing up, because not a lot of traffic, and all the roads were like I was by a new subdivision. So once the construction stopped and the paving began, it was all fresh asphalt. So it was just paper smooth roads, and it didn't matter. So I didn't have to worry about potholes at all, which is like, as a kid, I would never run full speed because I kept tripping, spraining my ankle, or running into stuff. And I can't get a license because I can't see like, by the time I see something coming, it's physically impossible for a human to react. So I'm a threat to people, so I can't get a license. So I've always been reliant on either, like, Missouri had no mass transit at all. It was the absolute most difficult place for somebody like me to actually grow up. And I think I think heaven did that on purpose to teach me humility at the beginning, so that I could carry through and not be a jerk as I got older. Hopefully I'm not a jerk. You tell me. I'm gonna tilt this hand up a touch. I don't remember what we were talking about. I just woke up in the middle of the conversation again. Oh yeah, exercise, bicycling. Thank you. Yeah, so there's a bunch of, you know, standstill bikes, exercise bikes, I guess. I don't know what the word is anymore. Anyway, they're fixed bikes I can pedal the hell out of, and my body is absolutely loving it. So the first time I lost a lot of weight, I didn't do any exercise at all. I think my body is going to be much happier this time around, because once I get that weight down, it should be a lot easier for me to maintain it. Not that you lose or maintain weight through exercise. You build structural integrity, bone strength, and bone density and muscle strength through exercise, and heart health and breathing capacity. But you don't regulate your weight with exercise. But exercise makes it easier for your body to regulate. So this is basically take 2, and I'm already much happier with the results. But I went out and bought some Jimmy John's roast beef sandwiches. Went for a walk last night. Got a little stir crazy. Wanted to walk around in the rain a little bit, so I went to Jimmy John's and bought some sandwiches. And then promptly ignored them so that I could have some roast beef sandwiches for lunch today. Make that my meal for the day. Jimmy John's are pretty good, man. They're like about this big. They're just roast beef hoagies, basically, with veggies on them. Fucking amazing. Tastes so good. And they're like 300 calories a piece, so it's ridiculous. Like, if you don't put any fixins on them, they're like $2.50 a pop. And and they're very filling, so it's pretty nourishing food. I don't think they quite stack. Nothing really stacks up against a fresh salad and fried rice. That's like. That is a very like greens and veggies are such low calorie and nutrition dense that they really are the optimal food to eat when you're dieting. Just keep the window down to only 1 hour a day that you allow yourself to eat, because you're going to fill up very, very quickly. And if you eat health-wise food, you can pack in a ton of flavor into it, just with like the spicing and the saucing that you may do, without having to get into like pizza territory, you know. like that high dense carb, calorie, fat content. Veggies and salads, you can eat a crap ton of, like just a huge volume of food. And not have a lot of calories. So you fill your stomach up, you're like, I can't eat anymore. But if you only give yourself a 1 hour window, it's like, well, I guess that's all I get for the day. And then, you know, there you go, success. I think the body is actually pretty good at taking care of itself if we don't self-sabotage. There's so much about Western society that's about self-sabotaging that it's difficult to just do what your body naturally wants to do. What's naturally right for your body to do. Your body wants to eat the fattest, sugariest content it can possibly find, because your body didn't get the message that we're not starving to death over here. So we don't have to seek out the most efficient source of calorie intake, which is always going to just be sugar and fat. Like, it'd be great if we could have like a design, like a dev meeting with our DNA about, like, hey, here's where society's gone in the past 100 years. You've got probably a 150,000 year lag that it's going to take a while for this conversation to catch up with you, but let it be known, this is where we're at right now. And your body's like, well, yeah, I mean, you're saying that, yeah, but there's going to be a solar flare that's going to come along in like 10 years and it's going to take out all your electricity. So you're going to want me to keep doing this. And we're like, but it's not convenient right now. Our society is really easy. It's like, well, yeah, but things can get really, really hard really, really fast. So how about you just discipline yourself through these good times and thank me for retaining my genetic imperatives when times get tough. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's not ominous. It's like, well, I'm not trying to threaten you. It's just these DNA strands have kind of been through these routines like a million times, like literally a million times. We see the cycles, and shit's going to get tough eventually. And you're going to want to have tough DNA when you do it. So we're just going to keep making you want the wrong things, because eventually those things won't be achievable. And I'm like, you need to stop, because this is like a really low intensity threat. It's like, well, you know, welcome to planet Earth, man. It was so funny. I don't remember what I was listening to, but it was talking about the likelihood of us being genetically modified creatures by a higher intelligence of alien or whatever origin. But the basically the simple common evidence that they point to, not that it's really evidence, but it's like, you know, if you ever wonder if we actually were naturally evolved creatures, or if we were altered in some way to exist here, the comment was, look at how everything on this planet is ready to go right out of the box. Like, a lot of mammals are born standing, and as soon as the umbilical cord gets cut, they run off, like literally run off and look for food on their own, completely capable. Like horses, giraffes, elephants, all these less intelligent mammals, but mammals nonetheless, just automatically know what to do. compare that to a human that literally needs like 3 years of patching, of game patches after the release of New Human 1.0. Like you need 3 years worth of patching and updates after the game gets running for you to actually be able to play the game. Like that tells us that there has been genetics that are not suitable for this planet injected into an animal that was originally supposed to be here. Why else? How else could we possibly have genetically survived this long with being incapable of doing anything on our own for the first X years? Like that doesn't necessarily prove anything, but it is a scratch your head sort of thing. Like, why is it that everything else basically is good to go? I mean, I think marsupials kind of prove that's not necessarily true, but marsupials don't leave their pouch until they're ready to go forage their own food, you know? So I don't think that's necessarily a killing blow in the conversation. So I guess you could say humans are just like really shitty marsupials. Like maybe that's a true statement. Let's do that. That's all very small. That's a very small hand. Let's biggish this. This is gonna work out just fine. I am fairly certain. There. Tilt that like that. Here and then here. Yeah, well, that's tilted as all hell. That doesn't look right at all. So let's do that. God, I love the rain. I know you can't hear it. Audiences can't ever hear any of the background stuff that's going on a streamer's life. We always think that you can hear it, but we know you can't. No one ever can. needs to be a little bit. Draw that in a bit. Pardon the pun. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Where are we at? 7:30? Okay, this is our last 20-minute kick. Oh boy. This meticulous work is exhausting. Curving that stuff out. I know I'm just being a perfectionist right now, but you know, try hard, you know. That's one thing that's kept me. Like, I could produce things a lot quicker if I just did sketch art or like inks, pencils. But my brain keeps screaming. If you don't paint and color, you're kind of missing the point of having started this whole thing in the first place. So it kind of keeps me in that painterly feeling. Like I could do pen, you know, I could do pencil. But I can also do color, and I shouldn't be able to. So I should really be doing the thing that I'm not supposed to be able to do if I can get away with doing it, you know? I don't know if that's the proper attitude to have as a society as a whole. But when you're trying to show, when you're trying to demonstrate that a thing can be done that isn't supposed to be done, you kind of have to do that thing to demonstrate it. Face is doing weird stuff. Come on, man. At some point you stop impressing people. Just get it done, Kearney. I like this song a lot. Come on, don't make me do this for like another 20 minutes. It's going to piss me off. Zoom, not erase. Thank you. There we go. Almost there now. Carving out always seems so much easier than adding in. Oof, almost there. There. Arcs and curves like this always give me a big pain in the ass. You get the curve right, you have to add volume. Adding volume might make the curve seem wrong, and then the whole proportions can get tossed. And then so you spend 30 minutes working on an arc that ends up not working. Which makes calligraphy a much more admirable skill, considering how calligraphy exists almost exclusively inside of that arc volume ink space. And they generally play for keeps. Like, they play hardcore mode. There's no takebacks with quill and ink. There we go. I think that works. I'm gonna leave you be. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Cool. So let's dupe. I'm going to call it spell casting button. Bam, Mother Hubbard. Explore, and system, Zeraxis. Circle. All right, one to go. Where are we at? 750. Okay. Super close to done. Let's see if I've got basically 5-10 minutes. Let's see if we can knock down the rest of this. Luckily, hamburgers are pretty easy. So this is your generic hamburger. You see this on websites a lot. It's basically this, right? It indicates that there's a table going on here in a very, very simple, iconic format. Our ratios are off here, but that's essentially what you're doing. Let's see about doing this. Nah. Let's go. Merge down. Copy, paste. Merge down. Whoop, 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 whoop. This should pan out. It'll be a little taller. Only by a touch. So we can... That icon doesn't appear up in the corner. It just takes you to the table of contents. It is the table of contents button. There. Yeah, that's pretty good. Easy peasy. TOC button. Oh shit. Thanks for the warning, buddy. 10-minute warning. Now have a stack of buttons. cleared all the passives out. Duplicate, drop. Hopefully this is going to be as easy as I think it's going to be. Four, five. Three, four, five, six. Seven. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Eight. Nine. There we go. Got all those, and now we can add a button. We can duplicate this layer. We can merge this layer down. And now we can image, adjustment, invert. Bam, motherfucker. Just like that. Now, probably gray. Probably take that bite off. Down to 90%. That feels pretty good. So there's our passive ribbon, our passive bar. And then ship, combat, spellcasting, explore, hazards, creatures, system, Xeraxis. So if I then click on the combat button, or the flop, click on that one, that would take me to this page here. So icon match, icon match. I would then, if I was on this one, and then I click on the explore button, that would cause the combat to drop back into being white, and the explore button would become blackened, and then that would take us to the exploration chapter, which we have not completed yet. So that's it. We did it. We finished. We've successfully built our navigation bar, and we've built all the icons for our chapter corners. But the thing is that these are passive. This is our passive background assumption. So this as a whole, this is our background template now. So getting rid of that. This is essentially how our texture, our background color for the pages, and this is our border art for the document. So we'll be able to take this, and if I disable this layer mask, that shows me where all of the text needs to line up inside of the document. And then when I disable that, that shows me where all of the boxes and charts need to flow into the corner. And now that I have this background built, I can add it to all of the different art documents that we're doing to make sure that, like with this, the art curves into and matches the value of the gradient from gray to white. So I will be tonight. I'll be back on this evening in about maybe 11 hours. I think I have a conversation that I'm having. I'm not sure exactly when that conversation is taking place. Normally, I would be doing Eberron artwork for 100 some odd minutes, anywhere from like 100 to 150 minutes, starting at 7-ish in Seattle Pacific time. But it may be earlier this evening. I'm not sure exactly what my schedule is, so forgive my inconsistency. But you'll find out when I'm live if you like, subscribe, and if you hit the bell icon to get notifications. You can also follow me on Twitter at Phil Kearney, or if you know where I skulk on Discords, you'll see on all three of those medias, you'll see when I'm live and what I got going on. So you are most welcome to check in, say hey, and hopefully this chat feature over here is working properly. I just have low audience today, so hopefully this evening we'll be able to see that it works. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. I'm going to bounce out. I appreciate you being here, and hopefully I'll see some of you guys later on tonight. So thanks a lot. Laters.